Welcome back to the AI Marketer's Playbook, where we cover actionable frameworks to help you leverage AI and marketing strategies in your business. I'm Audrey Chia, your host, and today I have with me Kinsey Soderberg, the founder of Authentic AI and a trusted voice helping entrepreneurs build smarter, human-first AI systems that amplify creativity. Now, Kinsey is also known for helping business owners train AI to actually sound like them, while also building AI-powered systems that help streamline workflow and create, importantly, scalable offers. She is the creator of programs like Her AI Club and AI Brand Blueprint and has spoken on multiple podcasts and online summits, right? So one thing that I found interesting is that Kinsey isn't talking about just AI for the sake of it. She is actively building AI-powered generators, automated systems, and AI offers to help entrepreneurs monetize their expertise. So, Kinsey, super excited to chat with you today. Welcome to the show.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I am super excited to have you, and I see you have a little doggo in your background. What is his or her name?
Yeah. Oh, but there's two doggos in my background. One is a tiny little Shih Tzu named Willie, and then the other one is a big mutt of some sort named Stan.
Ah, so cute. I'm so glad they can
Yeah.
join us today. Now, for our audience who may not know you, tell us more about yourself. Where did you get started, and how did you get started in the world of AI?
Oh my gosh. I know. Yeah, it's so crazy. I actually, funny story, I started my business back in 2018 as doing something completely different than AI, right? I didn't even really realize what AI was at that point, you know? I was at that point kind of focusing on branding, messaging, content creation, that sort of thing. I spent a few years throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying to figure out what the hell do I actually want to do in online business, you know? And very quickly found kind of my vibe and my rhythm, especially approaching business branding and marketing from like an authentic point of view, right? That was kind of a part of my original story as a founder. I started my online business. I saw all the big names showing up online doing what they do best. And I was like, ooh, I need to show up like them in order to see success, right? So I started trying to kind of show up in my own business in a way that was mirroring them. And it wasn't that they were doing it wrong, it's just that the way they were doing things didn't fit me and my values and my personality. And I went through one of those moments where I realized I just need to show up as who I am, right? Trying to show up
Mm.
as someone else all the time feels exhausting to me. And I was like, this is not sustainable. My business is going to burn into the ground unless I can find a way to make it feel good and sustainable to
Yes.
me. So authenticity always was like a huge part of my brand because after I leaned into who I was, everything seemed to click, right? It was fun to show up in my business. I felt like I was sharing tips that like I believed in and that felt right. I started attracting my right people, right? So that was like originally a part of my brand journey somehow, you know, and that has always been a very big value of mine. So then about 3.5 years ago now, I guess, I've started hearing about AI tools, right? I remember I was at a podcasting conference and this guy came up to me and he's like, oh my gosh, have you tried ChatGPT? It's this cool new AI thing. It'll write your emails for you. And my first reaction was like, ew, no. Like, I don't want a robot to write my emails for me. You know what I mean? Especially because I was like, isn't the internet fake enough as it is? You know, I was worried about our creativity, critical thinking skills, about losing our authenticity. And so I kind of was like a curmudgeon about AI when I first heard it. And then I, a few months passed and I kind of had one of those realizations where I was like, you know what? It's not AI that's going to make the world feel faker or inauthentic, right? AI is a tool. And so we need to figure out how we can use it in a way that aligns with us. And that's when I kind of started getting curious about how can we use AI tools in an authentic way. And that's when I started my brand, Authentic AI. I started getting curious. How can we train the robots to actually understand us and to actually help us in an authentic way in our business so we don't turn our business into robots? And yeah, and everything kind of snowballed from there. And I fully pivoted into AI. I started out with like basic AI stuff in a way, where you're training AI or prompting, all that stuff. And I have since kind of grown and pivoted into, all right, well, how can we take AI to the next level? How can we start doing some automations and different things like that? And it's been such a fun, creative journey. I am actually surprised by how much I love learning about this stuff and teaching this stuff.
Wow. I think it's really cool, right? Because you're actually taking your core skill set, which is creativity, but then now supercharging it and then adding an element of AI. I actually think that learning how to use AI is a very creative process. To me,
Mhm.
it's like solving a puzzle. No one has solved it, and you just got to figure things out and piece things together. How has your own journey been trying to figure things out, especially when there was no blueprint at first?
Yeah, right. I know. Well, I think I love exactly what you just said, right? Where if you can bring your own core skills and knowledge to the tool, then that is like almost one of the best ways to learn AI and to use AI, right? Because you know what feels right or what feels off. And then you like start learning how to work with the tool to get to where you would have gotten anyways, only 10 times faster. And it's exactly what you said, right? Like if you bring your core knowledge and skills to the tool, you will be able to get to the end result, supercharge those skills that you already have so much more easily than if you're trying to get AI to do something for you that you have no idea what this is, or you have no way to pressure test like is are these results good? You know what I mean?
Yeah. One thing that was interesting that you mentioned was authenticity, right? You said that initially on IG, I'm assuming the platform that you've started on, you tried looking at other creators. So can you tell me like what didn't work for you and what on earth is authenticity in a world where everyone is putting content out there?
Oh, I love this girl. And you're bringing me back to my roots. I feel like I haven't gotten to talk about authenticity like itself in a while. Yeah, I mean, okay. I do think that this is one of those core things that really can make a difference as a founder in your business, right? Is getting to the core of who you really are and who your brand really is and what really matters to you, what feels aligned to you, and how does that translate into how you show up in the world, right? So for me, it was kind of one of those processes that I think I realized and I learned through doing, right? I saw big names like Jenna Kutcher, Amy Porterfield showing up in a certain way. And I saw them like on this pedestal. I thought that I needed to show up in like a more professional way. I thought I needed to show up and like share all these things that didn't really feel like they had substance or didn't necessarily align with like how I was actually doing things in my business, right? I was like sharing tips, but like maybe hadn't seen the results from those tips yet. Or maybe that's like not actually how I do things, but it's the tips that they were sharing. So I was like, okay. And it was kind of an internal feeling to me of feeling icky, feeling fake, feeling and just exhausted, right? Of like, oh my gosh, like, and then also this like fear of judgment in a way, like, right? So then for me, the process of leaning into who I really am and finding my authenticity, my alignment, all that stuff, it was really about firstly making a pact, I think, to be more real, right? And also be confident and accepting of who I really am, right? Like I'm a Colorado girl. I love hiking. I love climbing. I have like dirt under my fingernails all the freaking time. My hair is a mess, usually frizzy, like all this stuff. And like, so giving myself permission to not have to look a certain way every day. And then that also goes into giving myself permission to be real with my people as far as like where I'm at in my journey, the tips that I'm sharing, that sort of stuff, right? And so then that all translates into getting curious about what really matters to me, what feels aligned to me, and how that then translates into my business as far as so for example, joy is like a huge part of my journey, my personal journey as a human, like just chasing joy, finding joy in life. I've had a few experiences that really made that clear for me. Deaths in the family, that sort of stuff. And like that's one of those personal things that like it's a core value that I hold. But then how does that translate into my business, my values, the way I show up, what I teach, right? Joy has also been a huge part of my business in general with like having fun with things. From like content creation back in the day where Instagram was like making me roll my eyes every day, but like let's make this fun. Like let's make this easier, that sort of stuff. And that translates now into how I teach AI as well. Like one of my first bad reviews on my podcast ever, this was back in 2020. It was like 6 months into my podcast, I got like a 1-star review, and the lady was like, cringe. She laughs after everything that she says. It makes me feel like she's not taking herself too seriously. I was like, you can imagine as a podcast host, itty bitty Kinsey was like, oh. And then I was like, you know what? She's right, though. I mean, I don't take this stuff too seriously because that's one of my core values and that's who I show up as. And like, she's not for me, but like these people over here who love me, they are for me. So like, that was like kind of my journey. It's really just like getting curious about how you're showing up in the world, what you care about, what doesn't align, what does align, and following what does align. And I just think that that makes business so much easier. I know that was a long-winded answer, but does that feel good?
Not everyone is aligned with their values. Actually, for me personally, beyond AI, beyond what we do, right? I think I've spoken to a lot of founders who found themselves trapped in their own business. After building something for many, many years, they find themselves a little lost because they have built something that is great. They have a big team, right? They have great clients, but they no longer are doing what they do best, which perhaps for them is the work. For you, perhaps it's being creative. For me, it's building things that actually work. I think as a business owner, if you're listening to it, it's always good to go back to your why and then start building from there. So, Kinsey, you say, okay, now that you found your authentic voice, you found your values, but how did you actually take off on the platform? Because I know a lot of our listeners, they hear so much about socials, and even for them, any new channel is very, very daunting. So, just tell us a bit about that 0 to maybe 1, that kind of journey. How did you find your traction and find that groove, on your platform?
Yeah. Oh, I love this. Okay, so for Instagram's always been my favorite platform just because of, I don't know, the vibe, I guess. I'm really not a Facebook girly. I would love to be in LinkedIn. I just can't get on there for some reason. Like
For now.
Instagram, I think yeah, for now. I know Audrey's like, we got you, girl. But yeah, no, I just started showing up consistently, honestly, and then I also allowed myself to pivot over the years. I mean, I've been in business since 2018. I now have, oh gosh, I have like three-ish Instagram accounts that I probably manage, which is crazy. My first one is AI Kinsey. This was my original kind of Instagram. It was my original business account, right? It only has like 4,000 followers, you know. Then I have another side account, Authentic AI account. That one has probably like 2,600 followers or something like that. Then we started an itty bitty new account for our new club, which is like 400 followers, but you know, growing and stuff. But you know, that's over 8 years or whatever it's been. And so but you know what it is I've had very slow but like fairly consistent growth over time.
Mm.
And I've been following the strategies as far as like longevity, not necessarily hopping on trends or wanting to go viral. For me, it's been about establishing my presence, establishing my authenticity on the platform, feeling comfortable showing up the way I want to show up in the moment. And I also do have a fairly engaged audience, I would say. I make like quite a few sales from Instagram. I have lots of conversations on Instagram. Instagram is one of those like nurturing platforms, I think, for me with my audience and stuff. But right now, my jam is Instagram stories. I absolutely love showing up on Instagram stories. It's so fun for me. And it's where I get to kind of establish that behind the scenes, like, ooh, let me show you what I'm working on relationship with my audience. I think works well for my brand right now. Yeah.
Wow. I think the one thing that stood out was consistency, right? Because a lot of people, if they don't go viral overnight, or even if they do, then it's how do you keep up this momentum? How do you keep going even when you don't see immediate results? And I think if you put in the work, you will see results, but you have to keep going. Otherwise, you are really falling short of achieving that. Maybe your next post could give you your next client. Who knows, right? So let's
Mhm.
also circle back to our favorite topic, AI. Now, we talked about being authentic. We talked about, okay, building consistently, but how do you then now integrate AI into your workflows? So, Kinsey, tell us a bit about your day. How does it work? What's currently possible right now with AI?
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, when you get into the world of AI, all of a sudden your eyes are open and you're like, I can do everything, or it can help me with anything, right? When I first started using AI tools, I kind of had to train myself to use them more and like all the time for like whatever, right? Because like you start using this new tool and you're like, working along your day to day and you forget to use it. So I kind
Mm.
of had to at first just train myself like, oh, could AI help me with this? Sure. And you know what I did? I actually put a sticky note next to my computer screen saying, can AI help me with this? And so that anytime in my day when I would get like stuck or whatever, I'd like look at that sticky note and be like, oh yeah, okay, let me go check ChatGPT if it can help me or not, right? So that's kind of how I got started training myself. And now literally in my day to day, I have multiple Claude tabs open or a ChatGPT tab open as well. And it's really helping me do so much of my work in my day to day, whether that's like helping me to stay focused, right? I'm definitely like an idea butterfly in a way where I'm like, ooh, fun, shiny object kind of thing, right? So like AI really helps me to actually like stay focused on my task. Or like if I get distracted by something else, I can come back to like that chat,
Mm.
right? And it's like, okay, oh yeah, this is what we're working on. You don't know how many times I've asked ChatGPT, hey, can you give me like a review of what we were just talking about? Like, oh, let, give me a brief on this project. What are we doing here? Where are we at? You know, and like that has been so amazing for my scatterbrainedness for
Yeah.
sure. And then also just like now that I've been using Claude and now that I recently have like switched to using Claude more than
Yes.
ChatGPT, Claude has been so amazing for so many things in your working in your day to day because Claude skills are awesome for repetitive tasks, like way better than custom GPTs or anything like that, in my opinion. There's also like Claude Cowork and connectors. Like lately with Claude, being able to connect Claude to my Airtable databases where I'm like hosting all my different things, my ideas, all my systems. So I love using Claude in my day to day for all the different things, keeping me organized, checking my Gmail, doing all the extra tasks that like I wasn't able to do before, connecting my tasks, my software to Claude. And then also lately, I've been doing a lot more with AI automations where those are those repeatable autonomous tasks, right? Or like agentic AI in a way too, right? Where it's like, okay, what are the tasks that I need to give input on and collaborate with? That's when I hop into my AI tool and I even set up automations or skills inside of Claude for that. But it's like those tasks that it needs my human input and it's kind of like not as much repeatable or like that sort of stuff. But then the tasks where it's like the manual grunt work, where it's the same thing every time and you're just repeating it,
Yes.
repeating it, repeating it. That's when I've been building AI automations so that it doesn't even need me at all necessarily, or it needs me at one specific point in the entire workflow. And that's been really fun too. Yeah.
Wow, so interesting. I think for someone who's trying to figure out like, do I automate something or do I build a cloud skill or do I just have a conversation? How do you split the buckets in a simple way?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that I always like to break things down to foundational pieces and then building off a good foundation, right? So for me, actually working within an AI tool on a task is the very first step in a way, right? Because you need to figure out your own workflow and how AI can fit into this. And often, too, you might not know the exact repeatable process of that task until you do it with an AI tool, right? So to start, my very first go-to thing is opening up a chat window inside of Claude or ChatGPT and doing a task from start to finish with that tool. Then at that point, if it is a repeatable task like content creation, podcasting flow, that sort of stuff, where like you find yourself doing it again and again, and you've done it maybe 2 times with the tool, and you've kind of figured out the workflow, worked through the kinks, that sort of stuff. That's when you could turn it into a Claude skill, right? Or some sort of repeatable thing within the AI tool itself. Um, and a Claude skill is essentially just giving it those specific exact instructions so that you don't have to repeat yourself every time or
Yeah.
like, or correct it every time, right? So that's where creating a Claude skill is that next step. That's great. And then at that point, if you're using that Claude skill again and again and you're kicking it off, but you're feeling like, this is like repeatable, scheduled, or like it's kind of on demand, but like it doesn't need me in this whole process really. That's when then you could turn it into more of an automation. So that could look like a task in Claude Cowork if like that makes more sense for you, or it could look like an external task or an external automation tool such as like Make or NAN or something like that. And And so I kind of like to think of it in that way because they really do build the foundation. You use the workflow that you develop with the AI tool yourself for the
Yeah.
skill. And then actually often you can use that skill that you developed
Mhm.
in the automation tool itself, which is so great too, right? And then the other time when I choose automations is when you do need to connect other tools with the automation that you can't necessarily connect in AI, right? So that's another reason why you might choose an automation with an external tool is when you're needing more connection points or more logic or whatever it is outside of what you could really do within like Claude itself or something.
Yeah, I think also like what you shared, right? It seems to me that you have a very systematic way of doing things, which I think is very cool. Because for someone who's very creative and passionate and expressive, sometimes we have thoughts everywhere. But I think using AI trains us to become actually pretty systematic. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. I think yeah, my brain definitely like loves systems and also like can go wild when I let it too and stuff. I think that AI definitely it helps you to organize your thoughts because you have to understand how to share a concept or like a
Yeah.
task or whatever it is with in a way that a tool, a robot can understand it, right? So that helps you to kind of start thinking in systems ways, which is so great. Another thing I found that AI really has helped me do is help me with my leadership skills, honestly, like delegating. Like it actually has helped me develop like my skills to be able to like communicate, share my thoughts clearly,
Yeah.
and like delegate tasks to not only a robot, but also my human team members too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so funny because I used ChatGPT for quite some time, especially because it was one of the leading players initially before Claude came along, right? So ChatGPT got so familiar with me as, the user that even if I used a three-word phrase, it would instantly get it. It could read my mind. Then when I moved to Claude, Claude had to relearn everything. So now I'm in the process of reworking with Claude so that it starts to slowly understand what I need. But I think over time, as you use a tool, it gets to know you to such a intimate extent that, I think it really helps you to take your work to the next level super quickly, even without you having to articulate everything all the time. And I think that's the incredible power of AI. Speaking of automation, it would be really cool to see some actual workflows that you currently are running and show us what is actually possible for you right now.
Yeah. Okay, so you warned me that I might be able to show a system behind the scenes and stuff. So I want to quickly prep by sharing the system that I want to share with you guys. So okay, as I've been building out AI systems more and more, AI automations, different cool, fun things, taking AI to the next level with AI. One of those things that I like ask people all the time is what do you want to automate, right? And a lot of times people will focus somewhat more on the back end content creation, the back end systems, the and kind of not as much the back end systems, more like the mundane tasks that like has just been on your to-do list forever that you don't want to do, like showing up, like posting on social media and stuff, right? And that's awesome. Like I want to use AI to automate my social media too. That's great. But I also often say, well, what if instead of creating a system that will help you post more on Instagram and then posting on Instagram gets you the exact same ROI available that like was already there, right? Which like let's be honest, a lot of people focus on social media, which it's important, but like is the ROI there? Not as much as if you would create a system that is directly related to money making, right?
Mm.
So I always kind of like to shift people's perspective as far as like, how could we instead create a system that is directly going to help you increase your revenue, whether that's creating an AI powered offer of sorts, like literally a quick cash injection offer that is fully automated and powered by AI, that can run without you, run on autopilot, and also like serve other purposes in your business, such as like upsells or kind of serving as that mid tier bridge offer into your higher offers, right? Or we could even create a system that actually helps you with client delivery, right? So that you can increase your client capacity and really increase your revenue every month, right? So anyway, I just wanted to share that because that's one of those kind of system perspective shifts that I often help people make. And also it's somewhat related to the system that I want to share. So the system that I would love to share with you guys, let me pull it up. Okay. So The system that I want to share with you guys is called, it's what I call an AI powered playbook generator. Okay. And the idea is that instead of giving someone a bot, right? Like a lot of people are creating bots, sharing them as freebies, sharing them in their programs, even just selling access to their bots. A bot is awesome as an AI offer, but it does require like human input and human interaction, right? The
Mhm.
experience for the client is definitely like, let's get to where you want to go faster, but like you're still doing the work with the AI tool, right? A bot is like a tool that your user has to use in order to get the results. An AI powered playbook is somewhat like a bot, but it's flipping the user experience on its head. So instead of the user answering questions within the bot and going back and forth and working toward the end result, what a playbook does is asks your customer a few questions up front in an intake form. They fill out an intake form, they hit submit, and then the AI automation and analysis runs behind the scenes and goes through analyzing their answers on their form and then puts your framework on their answers and then produces a super cool deliverable, right? So literally it's producing a generated deliverable for every customer within like 30 seconds of them hitting submit on the intake form, right?
Wow.
And that's where I call these playbooks, right? So I've created quite a few of them. And actually, I'll just show you a few examples of the deliverables that I've created to start, right? We have, this is like my AI system snapshot deliverable. People fill out, this is actually a freebie version of this. The cool thing about AI powered playbooks is that you can use them in whatever way you want. You could use it as a freebie, which is awesome. You could use it as a quick cash injection offer, like a $27 roadmap, like custom roadmap or audit, a $97 audit sort of thing, a $297 strategy. And you could even pair it with like a one-to-one strategy session with you or something like that, right? And you can make it so that it not only delivers hyper personalized value, but then it also upsells into one of your higher ticket offers on the back end of a playbook, right? So you can do them in lots of different ways. The one that I have pulled up is a freebie version of it, free personalized playbook. Literally, people just answer one question. What is your most annoying manual task, right? So this is the freebie landing page. You go down and you can see first name, last name, email. They just select an industry or role or whatever they want. And then they answer, what's one thing you're still doing manually in your business that you would love to automate, right? Let's see, content creation. We'll just do this real quick. And after this, they hit send, and literally I hit submit on the form and it's saying hang tight, it's generating, it's counting down 45 seconds right now, right? What is happening behind the scenes right now is that this make automation is running. It's actually probably running right now. It actually might be done already, let's be honest. But what happened behind the scenes is that it took my answers from my form. It is analyzing my answers with Claude. Inside the make automation, I pulled in a Claude skill actually. So I have a Claude skill for analyzing my results, right? And then actually what happens is that it exports all of the custom playbook answers from the Claude. It tells what needs to go in this person's playbook. And then I map it into the final deliverable. The final deliverable could be a PDF. I like to do HTML web pages because they're so much more fun and interactive. Are we getting a little too nerdy here, Audrey? Are we doing good?
Oh, I'm so excited to see the output, but yes, continue to walk us through it.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, no, let's look at what we got here, right? So I went ahead and put in the snapshot and it generated it. It happened within 30 seconds, girl. I have it count down 45 because I want to like make sure. But like, yeah, no, it's generated within 30 seconds. Click to see your snapshot, personalized snapshot for Kinsey. This was what I put in content creation. It's like, okay, you need to create a content engine. And then it shows me this is your 3-phase plan for automating your content creation, right? Build your content bank, idea to draft pipeline, one idea, every platform. It kind of takes you through the whole thing. It shares the tools that help you build this system. It shows how your system runs, right? And then it says, want to make this real. And then here's like my upsell and call to action. So this is a freebie system. It's a free lead magnet that I use. I've gotten over let's see. I've gotten 370 well, including me, I guess that last one. 370 people have signed up for this within the last month. This is a pretty new freebie that I just created. Now I will say, and this is another fun thing, I recently spoke at Social Media Marketing World. I was on
Yeah.
stage. There was like 600-ish people in my audience, and I got like 200 people to sign up for this on stage because I did a live demo, right? So I got
Yeah.
200 new leads from stage at Social Media Marketing World, which is so crazy to think about. But now, like, I mean, this is something that people freaking love it because they love to see like their personalized results here, right?
Yes.
So I'll show you another one. I actually have an AI playbook that
Mm.
an AI offer playbook. So an AI powered
Mm.
offer playbook. It's super meta. It's like giving you examples of what AI powered playbooks could you create for like your offers
Mm.
and stuff, right? So this is another fun one that I did recently. We'll do Emma's. Emma just recently signed up for something, but so they fill out this form. This intake form is like 5 questions, I think instead. It's asking about your offers, who your ideal customers are, what your goals are, that different stuff. So it's like a little bit more in depth of an intake form than one question.
Yeah.
But this is kind of what gets produced is it gives you a little, I love adding little personality things into it, right? So it's like your playbook offer personality is the commercial catalyst, right? And it's kind of saying your rare sales meets marketing brain is ready to scale far beyond your hours. It's like, I love giving people love personality tests, right?
Yeah.
But then you go down on this and it shows 9 different AI powered offer ideas, right? AI powered playbook ideas, low ticket, mid ticket, high ticket. You can open these up. You can see what the offer is, the suggested price point, all this different stuff. So this is something that I'm actually running ads to.
Mm.
And I'm offering for, it's like $97 regular price, but in my ads, it's $27. You know what I mean? And so you can really use these in lots of different ways and price them, have different price points for them. Because side
Mm.
note, it only costs like 2 to 5 cents per playbook generated. And this entire system is done in 30 seconds and it costs like 2 to 5 cents for the playbook to actually be generated, right? Like, yeah, and there's just lots of different fun things. We're actually, we are collabing with a brand photography and content brand business called Workplay, and
Mm.
we are doing brand shoot mood boards that are auto generated. So if someone fills out their like brand vibe, their idea for the photo shoot, all the things, and then a mood board is generated that's like giving them ideas for different scenes that they should shoot and ways that they can use their photos and kind of their color palette and what outfits they should bring, like that sort of stuff. So like lots of different fun ways you can use this idea.
Wow, it's so cool. And I'm so curious to know how did you then get it to be so well branded on your site? Because most people get stuck at just the text only, right? So what's the secret sauce to getting it branded?
Oh, girl. Okay, I will geek out with you about this. Okay, so I'll show you the brand photo shoot generator thing because this one is so cute. Okay, I have been freaking just coding web pages with Claude. This is another reason I freaking love Claude so much, you guys, because it's like it will code an HTML web page for you. And like I don't think people realize that like you could like it's kind of like an interface, right? Or a
Mm.
dashboard. But like what if you created a dashboard for that you gave to people as a deliverable, right? Like what if it was like a client dashboard? So that's what these are, right? They're actual little customized web pages. And I love it to be HTML because it's like interactive, right? You saw me when I was like opening up the
Yeah.
different drop down things. And like and also too I have some other fun pages where it's like it shows a make scenario mock-up and like you can like hover and it'll pop up the little bubble that says this is what this module does, like just fun things like that. But anyway, I've been coding them in Claude itself, which I love. I will say I have a web and brand design background, so like I
Mm.
kind of understand the language of branding and also especially like coding with websites. I do think that it's helpful, but also vibe coding is pretty easy. You just have to kind of get the hang of the language. But yeah, so this is the brand mood board that I've been coding with Claude. This is what will be delivered to every person who signs up for the brand mood board generator, which I think we're going to sell for like $47 on top, like as an upsell from the photo shoots and stuff, right? And so when you vibe code with Claude, it's I did a whole like workshop on it. It's really about making sure that you understand that you are speaking to Claude in a way that like it can make sense from like a brand design perspective. So thinking through the terms that you might be familiar with when it comes to your website, right? Like a drop down thing or like any kind of CSS language, like you don't have to know it, but realizing that you're speaking to Claude in design terms like will get you such better results. I love using like screenshots of inspiration. So like if you don't even know designing at all, but you already have a website built or you already have some sort of branded deliverables built, sharing screenshots of your deliverables or even sharing a link to your website because Claude can go in the back end of your website and read the code there actually, or it can help you inspect it. So like sharing examples of visuals is the best way to get the best results from your like uh, AI tool, I would say, without really understanding too much about brand language and stuff. Is that helpful?
Yeah, I think also what stood out to me is you are combining your human ability as a creative first, right? Because you already know what you're looking for. And then when you use Claude, it's so much more effortless to get to the results that you're looking for because you sort of have that vision of, this is the thing I want to paint. I cannot see Mona Lisa's face yet, but I know that I need to create a stunning kind of output. Is that something like your own process? Do you feel that way as well?
Oh, totally. And like I think too, I don't know how much vibe coding you've done and like the visual stuff. Everyone's loving creating like Claude dashboards now and things like that, right? But like they're getting to that point where people vibe code something with Claude and then they're like, this is awesome. And then they're like, wait, this looks like everyone else's things that they're vibe coding with Claude, right? Like just like
Yes.
AI has cliches for language, like using the same words or turns of phrase a lot. Like same thing for design. Like Claude has cliches. If you just ask Claude, make me a dashboard and not give it any input, it's going to create an awesome dashboard that's going to look like everyone else's dashboards on the internet, right? So like that is again exactly what you just said. Bring your own human perspective and needs to the tool and have the tool help you create it, right? So what I did for this workplay collaboration, workplay gave me a slide deck of like their branding and their different things. I took those screenshots, I gave it to Claude and I gave it the input not only about the visuals that we're creating, like yes, but then also the strategy behind the visuals is so important. People don't think about that as much. I gave that to Claude, but then girl, this took a hot minute to like get to this point even, and this isn't even the final result actually.
You're
Like
so
just
good.
remembering thank you. I know, just remembering that like the first thing that it gives you is not even going to be like the final thing, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
you
trying to
probably
see, I
went
don't
through
even
many rounds
see.
of iteration, like back
Oh
and forth,
yeah.
until it gave you something that's closer to final,
Oh
right?
yeah, look at like some of these things, right? Yeah, you can see some of my screenshots that I shared with it,
Yes.
different things. Like it was like saying to do this. I was like, oh
Yep.
no, let's do something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So actually, I think a lot of people think that, it's something that can be done instantly, but you can also tell through your process that it takes time, it takes craft, it takes an eye for detail to get to a really decent output that's high quality, that doesn't look like everyone else's. Um,
Mhm.
so even for me, when I tell other creators, right, don't the thing that's going to keep us as creators creating is also our eye for voice, for visuals, like how we hear things, how we see things. That is something that's so human. And when everyone is going to be AI, that's, I think, your most important advantage, your lens that you view the world. And I think that really comes down to what you think good taste is. And I think, Kinsey, you have great taste. So maybe I also have a follow-up question, right? So for the folks who are saying like, I know a bit about AI, but I don't really know how to monetize it. And you talked a bit about monetization. What would be a piece of advice you would give them?
Yeah, okay, for sure. And I love talking about monetization because again, it's one of those things you kind of like you're like, "Oh, AI can help speed up all my backend tasks or it can help me do the things that like I just hate doing," right? And yeah, that's great. But like what if your highest priority automation systems were directly related to your impact your revenue, right? So okay, so when it comes to monetization, I think that it's really about taking a look at the offers that you currently have and thinking, how can I fold AI into the offers that I already have to make them even better, right? To give my customers better results, quicker results, or give them like helpful things to actually put into action the stuff that you're giving them, right? So like one way to look at it is how can I improve the offers that I currently have with AI? And then the other thing that you can think about is your entire offer ecosystem. How can I fold AI into my offer ecosystem to make it work even better as an entire funnel, right? And that is looking at it from customer experience. That's looking at it from customer results. That's looking at it from strategic upselling or like moving people through an offer funnel so that you can continue to reach your warmest leads, help them to the results they want to get faster, easier, in a more personalized way, all that stuff, right? And again, it's always, I do believe that it's not reinventing the wheel. It's really taking a look at what you already have and what's already working for you. And then how can AI help to improve the process, right? So yeah, it could look like adding, again, that's when I like to think about the different types of AI that we could integrate into something, right? You could offer your customers a bot if it's something that they like need to get to the end results, but it needs collaboration like in the process, or they need learning in the process, or whatever that is. You could offer people a playbook if it's one of those things where like, I just want quick clarity now. I don't want to struggle through going back and forth with the bot. Or like if they don't want to like do a lot of work, then that's where like a playbook, quick clarity now is so great. It could also even look like templates or prompt packs even, or even like external things that aren't even AI powered, but they're helpful with AI. So for example, one of my main entry level offers is called AI Brand Blueprint, and it's helping you create your 80-page strategy document that like outlines everything about your brand that you then share with your AI tools, right? That's literally just a PDF, like a Google Doc that like outlines your brand strategy, but that is a tool that people can take to any AI tool that they're using. It moves, it lives, it breathes, that sort of stuff, right? So, I don't know, just thinking through all the different ways, all the different touch points that you have when it comes to AI. And then really what I like to bring it home to is what is my ultimate goal and what is the experience that I want to deliver for my people, right? It's not really, is a bot better or is a playbook better? It's more like, what is the user experience I want to provide here? What are the results that people need here? And like, what's the best choice? You know what I mean?
Yes, I think also combining your own skill sets with AI, right? That's the value add. So if you're in finance and you will find a way to automate your workflows and value add, that's amazing. And if you are in a job that perhaps you feel might be threatened by I think one other thing that stood out from this conversation is you don't have to feel threatened. You just have to learn how to use it and adapt with it, right? And in
Mhm.
fact, I think like both of us, we have seen such massive gains in our business, in our clients' businesses. So if you are still on the fence, really just finding a problem, then looking for a solution, then building out that very systematic workflow, I think that's really a fantastic starting point. So with that, we have come to the end of today's podcast. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, Kinsey. It was amazing. I'm sure our listeners also gained so much. So where can they find you and who should reach out to you?
Yeah, yes. Well, I do hang out on Instagram mostly, guys. It's AI Kinsey or authenticai.co are my two main handles. If you DM me, that will be me responding. I don't even really have any automations or robots set up for you. So, yeah, reach out to me on Instagram would be great. And if you want to try out the AI system snapshot, that's my free lead magnet where you answer that one question, what's your most annoying manual task? It will within 30 seconds give you the full like automation plan, which is so fun, right? So that is authenticai.co/snapshot. And yeah, it's free and it takes like 2 minutes, literally. It's so fun.
I am totally gonna try it out straight after this call.
Yes,
So
do
awesome!
it.
Thank you, Kinsey, and thank you, folks, for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the bell for more actionable AI and marketing insights. We'll see you next week. Take care.